So if I use the magic wand on this image, if I'm trying to select George Clooney, if I take the magic wand, I've got a tolerance setting of 32 and contiguous. Even if I hold down my shift key and I add to the selection here, this is becoming quite cumbersome to get all of what I want. And the reason why is the magic wand is sampling wherever I'm clicking my cursor. It's analyzing that particular color of that pixel. We talked about pixels, so if we zoom in, all these little squares here. So if I take my magic wand here, it's going to grab those pixels. When you want to make a more broad selection, we don't use the magic wand, because if you look at this image, I'm going to hit Control D to deselect, we have blacks, we have some light grays, we have skin tones, we have white. So that's not the best tool. But also in with the magic wand quick key W group is quick selection, and this tool works pretty much like a brush. You can paint over the area that you want to select, and we can adjust the brush size by our square bracket keys on our keyboard. Those are the ones to the right of the P key on your keyboard. And now, instead of using the magic wand, notice my option bar is a little different here. We don't have a tolerance setting. We want to make a new selection. I have a size of 40 pixel brush, and I can now just take my mouse and kind of sweep over the area. It's like I'm painting the area that I want to select. And it's always a good idea to Control+, zoom in, and make sure that you don't leave out any areas. So you can see here, I've got some issues going on. I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to fine-tune things here and make sure that I don't leave out any parts. Now sometimes when you do this, because the face pixels are close to the background here, we need to remove part of the wall behind them. So if I do Alt, my cursor will turn from a plus into a minus, and I can erase or remove that part of the selection. So here I need to add back in his neck. Whoa, Alt, get rid of this area here. And each image is going to present its own challenges here. So I'm just going to peek around here, make sure that I get the hair. You want to follow the whole perimeter of the image. I'm going to zoom out. So there's my selection. And again, I did this with the quick select as opposed to the magic wand. Let's take a look at another image and see how this works on a different image. All right, let me clean this up a minute here. All right, so I have this Porsche image. Ignore the other layers that are here. So again, if I'm trying to select the car, I have a lot of different colors here. If I tried the magic wand, this would take quite a while to select all the pixels. So I'm going to deselect with Control D. Instead, I'm going to use quick selection. You can make the brush as big or small as you want. If it's bigger, you're going to cover more ground faster. And now I can quickly sweep over, and occasionally you want to let go of the mouse and let it kind of catch up. And when we start to get near the tires, it gets a little bit more challenging because those pixels in the tires are similar to the ground color. And that's where that Alt comes in. So if it accidentally grabs what you don't want, you switch to Alt and you can remove that part of the selection. All right, I'm not trying to be perfect here. I'm just giving you a rundown on the difference between the quick select and the magic wand. So now, if I go around the perimeter, if I want to add the mirror in, if I have a really big brush, it's going to be hard to do. So if I make my brush a little bit smaller with the left bracket square key, I can now add that in pretty easily. So now I've got a relatively decent selection with the quick selection. So again, that is also grouped in with the magic wand, which is quick key W, but you paint with the quick selection. The magic wand is more for solid color, and That's pretty much the difference between the two. You just have to analyze each image and figure out which tool is the best for the job. Same thing with, if you have a nail that you're trying to hammer into something, you use a hammer, not a screwdriver. You could probably use a screwdriver, but it's going to take you a lot more time. Same thing here. Over time, depending on what the job is, you'll learn which is the best tool for the job. You don't use a hammer to to put a screw in. It just doesn't do it. Maybe you can figure out how to do it, but it's not the best tool for the job.